Hey, Bernice Fly Girl Armor coming back at you, and this is part 2 of the Overcoming Challenges and Obstacles. You know, a lot of folks have asked me, how did I get to where I am? How did I start my business? Why did I decide to get out the Marine Corps? Did I have any challenges and obstacles? Well, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And if you've heard my keynote, you hear me say everyone has challenges and obstacles, right? Sexism, discrimination, even the average white guy has challenges and obstacles. Everyone has challenges and obstacles. The question is, again, what's your mindset, the breakthrough mentality, the gutsy move, and giving yourself permission to engage. When I was in the heat of battle in the middle of Iraq, we had to wait for the ground controller to give us permission, right? Well, here at home, reminder, there are no ground controllers. You are your ground controller. You have permission to engage. Whether you give that to yourself or not is completely up to you. And I'll be honest with you. At a certain point, I felt stuck. I was waiting for a sign on when I was going to get out. I knew I was going to get out of the military. 2 tours in Iraq, excitement, adventure, combat pilot, check in the box. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to do when I moved on. I knew I loved law enforcement, so I was thinking about FBI, DEA. I also knew I loved working out and being a personal trainer, so I was thinking about physical therapy, being a doctor there. And I knew I loved speaking, and I was traveling around, going to these conferences, and I saw people on stage, and I said, whoa, you get paid for that, right? New dream was born. And I said, if it ever blew up, I would do it full time, right? Now, newsflash. What blows up that you don't put your blood, sweat, and tears into, right? Your sweat equity. Anyway, but that's what I said. If it ever blows up, I'll do it full time. I ended up being invited to a conference, the Women of Color in STEM Award, STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. I was getting an award for my pioneering role in STEM. And I ended up being a part of this session. And they picked me, because I was in my captain's uniform, to be the table captain. And it was an amazing session. And we walked away with the takeaway of be bold, be confident, be prepared, right? Go for your plan A. And it was awesome. A couple hours later, several of the women run into me in the hall. And they run up. They're like, oh my God, we're so excited. We're all going for our plan A. And I was like, that's great. And in my head, I'm thinking, I inspired them to go for their plan A. And I'm not even going for mine. And I inspired them. In that moment, time out. I had to pause. I looked up and I said, all right, God, I got it. That was my sign. And it sunk in real deep, real quick. So much, in fact, that I went around the whole rest of the conference telling everyone I was getting out. Yeah, now, I don't recommend that exit strategy to everyone, to anyone, to be quite frank with you. There is a such thing as an exit strategy, right? And so, general, it didn't matter who was there. But there were some relationships that were created, and people started saying, hey, we'd love to bring you in. We'd love to bring you in. We'd love to bring you in. So when I got back to Headquarters Marine Corps, I said, all right, I got to create a plan. And, I was resolute. So I turned in my papers to resign my commission as a United States Marine. That was in November of 2006. Within a month, a little over a month, it was approved. Crazy, right? And I'm thinking, better create a plan real quick. So I remember sitting at my computer and I said, well, athletes have coaches, executives have coaches, maybe speakers have coaches, right? Because I know I didn't teach myself how to be a cop. I didn't teach myself how to be a Marine. I definitely didn't teach myself how to be a pilot. First landing probably wouldn't have been all that great. So I knew coaching was a part of my life and it had been an accelerator. So I was looking for a speaker coach. Were there speaker coaches? I Googled speaker coach. My computer almost blew up. And the very first result that came back was Les Brown. And this clicked because my dad had told me about Les Brown, but it didn't click until that moment. You know how kids are with the parents, right? So whenever you're looking to invest in something or do something, you go right to the pricing page, right? That's what I did. Went right to pricing. Click on the page, $2,500 for 2.5 days of training. I was like, what? There is no way. I mean, I didn't even want to sign up for the $299 Franklin Covey class on being organized. So I definitely wasn't trying to sign up for $2,500. And on top of that, I didn't have $2,500. Military member, living paycheck to paycheck. Getting out, I wasn't going to have any health insurance, no pension, no retirement, no nothing, right? So $2,500 was just not in the cards for me in that moment, in that mentality, right? Couple weeks later, fast forward, I am upstairs talking to a bud of mine. She has a visitor. I've never seen the woman before, and I'm just excited. I'm like, I'm getting out. And the woman said, oh, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. And she said, okay. Now, I mean, I didn't care about other people's judgment on my dream. It's my spark. My dream is not for anyone else to understand, right? So I just kept talking and hanging out. And about 15 minutes went by, and I said, hey, got to head back down to my desk. Colonel's going to be looking for me in a minute. And the woman said, well, hold on, wait a minute. Have you ever heard of Les Brown? I said, actually, just a couple weeks ago, I was on his website. She said, well, hey, I might have a connection for you. I was like, no. Way out of my price range. I can't afford to go to that. And she said, well, I can't promise you anything, but let me make a call. Let me get back with you. So I give her my name, my phone number. Sure enough, a week later, she calls me back. I call the name and number on the paper, and the woman answers the phone. I tell her who I am. She's like, girl, you were brave enough to sacrifice your life, put it on the line. 2 deployments in Iraq for us. The least we can do is put you through speaker training. You just get here, we got you. I'm like, what? You know, the plane ticket was in hand. But let me pause for a moment right there. The only reason she was able to help me is because I actually shared what I was doing. I shared what I possibly needed help with. I put my dream out there. Now, note of caution. When your dream is this little thing, you're formulating it, you're putting together, you want to be careful of the dream snatchers and the vampires and all that stuff, right? The energy vampires that just pop your bubble and suck all the energy out. But when you have your stake in the ground, you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, what you believe in. Folks, you got to put it out there, because you never know who can help you if you don't share your dream, right? After that, I was in the zone. Some people call it stepping out on faith. Others call it listening to your intuition, following your gut. Dr. King said you don't have to see the entire staircase to take the first step. But folks, it's about creating your plan. Number 1, where are you? Where do you want to be? That's your vision, right? And number 2, what is the plan, the strategy that is going to get you to where you want to be? And you're not going to necessarily know the whole thing right at the beginning. But when we're talking about overcoming challenges and obstacles, the key is acknowledge the obstacles. Don't give them power. I'll say it again. Acknowledge the obstacles. Don't give them power. How do you focus all your energy and your effort on the solution, the goal, the mission? And when that fear pops up, I like to say transform your fear to fuel. We were crossing the border into Iraq. We were several minutes out. I remember looking at the map and counting down on the radio. 3, 2, 1. We're in Iraq. In that moment, it was so surreal. I could feel my body shrinking into the armor of my seat, the only armor on the aircraft, right? We were flying into enemy territory. We weren't shooting at tires and wood and fake targets. There were real people down on the ground that were trying to take us out of the sky. And I could feel the fear almost explode out. And at a certain moment, I said, why am I here? To save those lives on the ground. And I pulled the energy back in and focused it like a finely tuned laser burning through steel. leaning on my training and my why to save those lives on the ground. Folks, overcoming challenges and obstacles aren't always going to be easy. The overcoming isn't always going to be easy. Most of the time, it won't be easy. But when you stay focused on your why, your vision, and you create your plan, then it's time to move on to step 3 and execute. And that is in the next video. Stay gutsy.